Hello and welcome. Tonight on the show, reel in your lines because we have a fishy treat just for you. We have Bookbinder's cocktail sauce and S&F Remoulade in a jar. We are so excited to have you. This is Sauce Spoken.
And we're back. We are Sauce Spoken. We're the podcast detailing your favorite sauces, dips, and condiments. My name's Adam, and I'll be your host, and I'm joined here this week by my co-host, Tori.
Ha ha ha. That's right. My name is Tori, and this is Sauce Spoken. And I, for one, of course, I'm delighted to have you. You look great. Your skin looks great. Your hair. Are you putting like coconut oil or something in it? Because it just looks very sleek and shiny. But anyway, to my right, he's a handsome guy, you know? His hobbies include Instagram, getting his nails done,
Shopping at Target.
and shopping at Target. He's a good friend and co-host. His name is E. Hi, E.
Oh, yeah. I always like those mani-pedis, right? All right.
I don't know, petties, but more like maybe pedo.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa, Chris Hansen.
And now it's time to catch up with the hosts.
Time to catch up.
Eric, how was your week this week?
It's been a good week. I, got a new laser that is now installed, and we are training on it at work. So, that big 9,000. I actually found out the class of it, Adam. So it's a class 4 laser.
Oh, so it's not a class 9
It's
or whatever.
not a class
you
9.
said.
It's a 9,000 watt. Class 4.
You said that something went awry with the laser. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Oh, yeah. The programming for that laser is very strange. There's lots of windows. It's a strange application we have to go
You said
through.
it's like running Windows 10, right?
Basically? The laser is running Windows 10. But
Okay.
to make the program for the laser to run, I'm doing that in the office.
Okay.
But it uses 4 different programs. They all have to communicate and sync with each other to create one single program, which doesn't make a lick of sense to me, personally.
That don't make a lick of sense to me.
I'm not understanding any of this.
Yeah, and so basically I have this massive communication error between my cutting codes and my material my material library.
Is it 4 windows or 4 different programs? Do you know the difference?
4 different programs, not Windows-based programs. They're 4 different. They're called 3i by Amada. I'll call them out by name.
There you go. You have been called out.
Is it 4 programs or it's one manufacturer, like with 4 different like software packages that go together?
It's 4 separate software packages that are supposed to go together, but I don't know. Yeah, struggling with it a little bit. I will figure it out. Just need a little more time.
You stay there another 18 years, you'll have it all sorted out.
I'll have it down pat.
No, that's Home Depot. You've been at 17 years. How long have you been at your other job? You've been there for 7 years?
8, I think. 8 years.
You're the man. You the man, E.
That's insane.
It's nice to be able to find somewhere where you're happy. And,
by the time you retire...
I'll take care of you when you're piss-ass drunk. Make sure you're home and in bed and alive.
By the time you retire, you're going to have 110 years of work experience.
Fair enough.
Between your 2 jobs.
Yeah.
I do think... We mentioned this last week, but I do think it's funny that you seem to take working at your side job, the Home Depot, more seriously than you take working at your main job sometimes.
Sometimes. It seems that way.
Like, you never go to a Home Depot party and pass out by your car and puke on yourself. Home Depot managers never have to drive you home.
Where's his finest 3-piece
Trying to think if that has
Eric's
happened. It may
about
have happened. Oh, well.
I wouldn't be surprised
Such is
either, I
life.
guess.
Goodness. Getting all twisted.
Getting twisted.
At the Home Depot Christmas party.
Home Depot Christmas parties and Home Depot summer. Yeah, there's like a summer get-together that happened there.
There's a summer
41.
one.
That was years ago, back when Home Depot was cool. Like, really cool.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. It was the place to be.
It was like 2006, so we had like a huge barbecue and like campfire behind.
We'll bleep that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't work there anymore.
I don't.
Well, we don't want people...
And everybody who was part of that is long since gone from the company.
Every time I go back into that old Home Depot, there's still so many people that recognize me. And it's so weird because the vast majority of the people there I don't recognize. I just think it's weird.
Yeah.
And yet there's always a couple that... I was at the Giant Eagle across from that Home Depot today, and from the furniture desk, he hollered at me. He's like, "Hey, Adam," and I didn't know who he was at first.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But it's hard to go in there. I've made this statement before, but I have to choose whether I want to go into the Home Depot that I know where everything's located at, but I will get accosted by people I used to work with, or if I want to go to a Home Depot where I don't know where everything's at, but I won't get accosted by nearly as many people.
Accosted. That is quite the word choice.
Quite the word choice. It
I think
is.
that's what they're doing. Sometimes I accost them. Sometimes there are people I want to talk to, but generally speaking, I just am trying to get in and get out because it's some stupid fucking project I don't want to be working on.
I'm surprised at how quickly I managed to forget a store's layout. Like, I walk into and I'm just like, I'm so confused. I'm so lost.
You forget things that we talked about 2 days ago, Eric.
That's true. So I guess it shouldn't be a surprise if I leave a place.
You push things out of your brain with a remarkable efficiency. I will say that.
I do. Like drinking and knowing one's limit.
You gotta make room for new board game rules.
I don't even do that well.
He doesn't even remember the board game rules.
I don't remember the board game rules. Then I open up and I only half read the rules, which pisses Adam off to no end.
No, I don't like it when we read all the rules. I like it when we get going and I learn the rules through playing. What I don't like is when we get 90% of the way through the game and found out we've been playing it wrong the whole time. Like that game we played the other day, and you're like, oh, wait, here's this entire massive game-changing rule that we've been ignoring for 90% of the game.
It's massive, too, because, I swear...
That was a game-changing rule.
Oh, it's huge. When my brother taught me that, I swear he told me you have to have at least 3 of a kind.
What was the name of the game?
It's called Dragonwood. Very simple.
You had it on the sell pile.
Dragonwood.
I did.
The bottom line is you have to have at least 3 of a card to do an action.
But you don't. And I'm only...
No, you have to have at least 3 regardless. But you can have more than 3. That was the part we were missing.
Well, it didn't say that you can have more than 3, but it did say you can have more than 3, but it didn't even say that you had to have 3.
Oh,
so I'm wondering if you could be doing it with 1. That would have been game changer too. If you wanted to go up against a really wimpy creature, you could have just laid down 1 card and said it was any of the 3.
That would be, and it's hard to get cards, so that would have made a lot more sense too.
And that would have made more sense. So I wonder if we can, I don't know. Again, I should read the rules thoroughly again just to make sure, but it doesn't seem to specify any particular amount.
It just showed 3 on the thing.
Yeah,
for the
it just
example.
showed 3 as an example. And I think my brother taught it to me as 3 was what was
when you
required.
can play with any number. It would make a lot more sense to be able to play with any number you wanted.
Any number.
It would make a lot more sense.
1, 2.
I feel like the game would go a lot faster too.
Oh, much faster. It's supposed to be like a 20-minute game, and we played there for like an hour
We
and a
got
half.
particularly unlucky too because both of the game-ending monsters were at the very bottom of the deck next to each other.
That's true.
So that was just bad luck.
I actually pulled it out of my sell pile because clearly we need to play the game again as it's intended to be played.
I liked the game.
Pull it out of the sell pile. As a matter of fact, dump out the entire sell pile.
I'm not doing that.
Take it from the top.
I don't understand what the point of the sell pile is because you say you're going to sell these games,
and then I haven't sold a single.
You're
one.
going to probably make, at best, you're going to break even, and you're going to take that money and invest it into more important games.
No, I'm supposed to not be, but probably will.
But you will.
Yeah, I probably will.
Well, what about you, Tori? What did you get up to this past week? Anything exciting?
I had a delicious sandwich at an aforementioned restaurant. You brought it up, in fact, maybe a week or 2 weeks ago. But
Riley's?
Bob's Diner.
Bob's, nice.
Yeah, so it was delicious. I had a California burger, and it was terrific. In my heart of hearts, I could have sworn I got the breakfast burger, but apparently everyone heard California. So my mouth and my brain say different things at
Once
different
again,
times.
they have become unmeshed.
Yet again.
California dreaming, apparently.
Perfect. Well done.
Anyway, so I don't have a good segue.
Woof. That's the best segue going.
Yeah, but let's go ahead now and get on to the actual sauces that we're going to be talking about this week. Now, these are, at least one of these I know is something I've made frequent reference to in many other episodes, and it's been a long time coming. And that one is going to be a lesser known, but extremely tasty, I think, sauce that more people should be aware of. And that is a remoulade sauce. Specifically, this one is the Schlotterbeck and Foss remoulade seafood sauce. They abbreviate it as S&F, so I think we'll just call it remoulade sauce to avoid saying Schlotterbeck and Foss, as much fun as that is.
There's a good reason.
And the companion piece to that, the bookend to this episode, if you will, is going to be the Bookbinder's seafood cocktail sauce. So both of these are going to be seafood-related ones, which I don't think we've had anything that was distinctly seafood-related yet. So this will be a first for us. An interesting little matchup.
I think the man might be right.
Huh.
We didn't do
hard to believe.
Old Bay related, but that's like a powder.
Old Bay seasoning or any kind of I don't know, any kind of well, we did soy sauce, but we didn't do it on sushi. We just did it on rice. So,
We don't got that kind of money, E.
But damn, and we all like seafood too. It's kind of surprising this is our first time.
I know, we do all like seafood. Yeah, we really haven't done anything dedicated to it yet, so I think it's high time that we got onto this. But
Agreed.
without further ado, I'm going to pass one of these to each of you. I think, Tori, I'm going to give you the Bookbinder's seafood cocktail sauce.
All right, very well.
And Eric, I'm going to give you this S&F Remoulade sauce.
Remoulade.
So let's go ahead and start off with the visual description of the outside of the containers that we're looking at here tonight.
Who shall begin?
Tori, go for it, man. You
Tori,
just jumped right in.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think I will. This is no magazines, no pamphlets, only books we're binding. This is Bookbinders. It comes in a squeeze jar that's about 10.5 ounces.
About.
About,
Approximately.
roughly. Yeah, it has the little squiggly equal sign.
Does it?
No, I'm teasing.
I would have believed it. I don't know.
Oh, yes.
That'd be weird.
There's gullible written on the ceiling.
In green.
But on the front label here, I think it looks rather nice. Has a nautical theme, I think, to it. The outer edge of the logo almost looks poker chippish. And I think it looks pretty darn nice. It says restaurant style, the old original Bookbinders, established 1865.
Wow.
The war is over, and you have great seafood cocktail sauce here for you. Within that little icon, there's what looks like an oil lantern. And on either side is little anchors, of course, because we're fishing. And seafood is in a red banner, similar to, I would say, a McCormick.
Yeah.
I would say that's on that echelon. And then we have cocktail sauce in your typical time Romans typeface there. The back, of course, has ingredients, nutrition facts, barcode. No neat recipes or little anecdotes about the Bookbinder family.
Cool. Well, Eric, you want to lead us off with the S&F Remoulade?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. We have could we have a more different bottle in shape and style? This one, the seafood cocktail sauce there by Bookbinders was in a plastic container, and this one is in a glass jar. It's like a real skinny, tall-ish jar, maybe about 4.5, 5 inches tall.
It's a jar I think you would put capers in.
Yes, it looks exactly like a
Absolutely.
caper jar. Exactly. Has a gold metal lid to it with one of those like depression metal.
They're not depression.
Not depression, but a little
very
spot
What are
there
the
that's supposed to be
ellipticals?
depressed when you buy it, so that way when you pop it open, it then has a little bit of motion in it, which I kind of, one of those safety seal things.
Something
the
you
top.
can do to make noise on the air to annoy the listeners.
That's right. Yeah, the label is interesting. It's got this S and F logo is in a hexagon. It's bordered in white, and then the background is this red coloring, but it also has these horizontal lines going throughout it. And that horizontal and real tight spacing, too. I'm sure there's a type of art that this is, like, actually has a name, I'm sure. Some sort of, like, inking, kind of like a, I don't know.
It definitely does. I don't know what
it has a
call
name,
either.
but I don't know what the name is, yeah. I like it, though. I really do.
Can you turn it towards me for a second? Yeah, I don't know. It almost is like, this is not the right term for what this is, but it's almost like that scrimshaw shit. You know what I mean?
Scrimshaw or
It's like pencil drawn, but then colored in.
right.
It's got that like very distinct, like looks like a sketch.
Like, remember Take On Me? Remember that music video?
Yes, it's like that
There you go.
in essence.
I do not know that
Somewhat,
music video, but
yeah.
that's, probably pop culture. I wouldn't know that.
It looks like one of those old timey like recipe drawings. When they had everything hand drawn. That's what it looks like.
Oh yeah,
Good
it's
old Tor,
definitely
nailed it
hand
again.
drawn.
Yeah.
Maybe even like one of those scratch papers, and then they scratch away the black, and leave behind.
Sure.
So they do a lot of patterns in that. So so it's neat. Anyways, it's got an onion and a lemon, a tomato, a mustard jar, all on either side of this, and slightly in front of this hexagon with the S and F. And then it has a banner across the bottom too, and some garlic. The banner says Schlotterbeck and Foss, and then it says
Wow, you nailed that.
amazingly.
I
right?
thought for sure.
Yeah, you really crushed
for
that.
sure you're gonna trip up on that.
It's the Remoulade that I'm afraid
You're still
to
messing
say.
that up.
Yeah, messing that up.
It's not Remoulade.
It's
Remoulade.
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 Yeah, totally butchering that one. Remoulade seafood sauce.
Nailed it.
There you go.
It's gluten-free, says in a little box, kind of like tacked in there. I'm not sure about how much I like that per se. It's just like this extra square on top of like an already well-defined logo. It says good, clean food since 1866. Wow, both these sauces are well
Old as hell.
established. Yeah.
Wow,
Pretty amazing.
I'm always suspect about that. You guys ever wonder about that? Because you ever You know, do you think it's strange how many companies allegedly started in like the mid 1800s and are still around to this day? Doesn't that seem like suspect?
Quite a lot.
Because like I'm just struggling to imagine, like, there was nothing of this ilk. They weren't making Remoulade for Giant Eagle. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't a thing back in 1866. So what were they doing?
They're making it for their local community there.
Look at Vienna beef, dude.
No, I
Right.
strongly suspect that a lot of these companies like started off as something else and like transitioned into this type of sauce making thing. Like maybe they were like a seafood, or not a seafood. Maybe they were a seafood restaurant. Maybe they were like a boat that used to go out and catch fucking fish. They were fishermen or some shit, Or like bookbinders. For all I know, maybe they started off as actual fucking bookbinders. I don't know.
Right, maybe. Yeah, you could be right.
Sometimes that stuff, stranger things do happen,
Says they're made out of or based out of Westbrook, Maine. So pretty cool. It's 7.5 fluid ounces.
It's a place where you expect seafood stuff to come.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Best used by March 10th of 2023, so we're well within date.
Perfect.
Let's see. It has a little bit on the back here about a little bit about the sauce itself, in case you were curious as to what
we are.
Riddle me, Batman.
Because this is something I don't think many listeners have had.
What a remoulade is. It's a sassy sauce born on the bayou with whole grain mustard, it's going into ingredients, but sweet tomatoes and a rambunctious blend of spices and fresh herbs, traditionally served with fried shrimp, oysters, or green tomatoes.
Or fish sticks in this instance.
Or, for tonight we had fish sticks.
Dumb it down a little
Tasting article were fish sticks that Eric shat all over and then proceeded to tell me, I don't know why you think I don't like them.
They were delicious. I tell you what, I could have had 3 times as many fish sticks there.
I love fish sticks.
I never had them growing up because my dad hated them. So
of course he did.
They were banned from the house.
Yeah, the words that you were saying about him earlier were directly coming from his mouth, I could tell. You were like a mouthpiece for your parents' past.
Substitute for blue cheese in a wedge salad or in place of mayonnaise in a potato salad. Use for a dip on vegetables or a burger topping or a sandwich spread. So, yeah.
And this ties into tasting notes, but I can definitely attest to that being good on a variety of different applications outside of seafood. So that's very interesting. Well, let's go ahead now and move on to the inside of the containers, the sauce itself that we're looking at. Tori, do you want to go ahead and lead us off with that for the cocktail sauce?
Heck yeah, I have, which is quite the challenge because we have red plates. We have new flatware this evening.
You did get us out like something you would serve a toddler in, Eric, a knife-scarred, like the side of a whale, fitting our seafood theme tonight. Red plates with like a raised ridge. They're toddler plates. There's something you give a toddler that like food won't fall off of easily.
Yeah, literally my dishwasher is full of dishes and I just was near the scraping the bottom. I thought, I'll just get some plastic plates.
I actually find these plates kind of relaxing, to be honest. I would enjoy having a sandwich off this plate.
Quite homey for sure.
Yeah, I find it very calming to me.
Low key, I believe they're Tupperware.
Reminds me of my childhood when I didn't have concerns, and now I'm overwhelmed by concerns. So
sad to hear. I hope that's not true.
Yeah, growing up, I had many a PB&J off of a plate that looked just like this. So mine was like a cyan blue and a pink, and there was certainly a color like this, but a little bit lighter. There was a set of 4. I forget the 4th color. Maybe a green.
This is not something my parents would have bought. These types of plates. This is something I would have gone over to a friend's house and enjoyed this style of plate as opposed to the plates that we had as a kid. Although my plates were also fine. We had those.
They were good plates.
We had some of those plastic Hercules plates they were giving away for like Burger King for a while. Remember those?
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah. We were trying to like collect the whole set for those, and then they found out later they're like laden with all sorts of microplastics and BPA's and probably lead and shit too.
Right? Yeah, they're made on the cheap out of
all that commemorative dishware.
Yeah. Oh man.
So what I have in front of me here is a cocktail sauce. It's red. I mean, it is certainly red. And as you look through it, there's certainly horseradish in there, and we'll get into that later. I'm sure that's all the white flecks that you see. But there appears to be another chunk in there, which may or may not be some tomato particles, possibly. I'm inspecting it on a spoon for everyone out there. So, because this red plate does make things challenging.
That's a good point. I didn't see anything different on the plate. So
on the spoon, it certainly holds up well to the Blizzard challenge, which, again, it may be credit to it being on a spoon, but it holds up pretty darn well. So yeah, it is red. There's nothing really stand out about it. I mean, it doesn't stand out from any other cocktail sauce, whether it be a Heinz or whether it be a whatever French's. But yeah, there you have it. Got white flecks in it and maybe a slight heavier red chunk and has a bit of wateriness to it, dare I say.
Yeah, it's a little on the thin side.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely pours readily from the spout, I will say.
Yeah.
I noticed that, I think you're right about that there's not a lot of diversity amongst cocktail sauces. They all pretty much look the same. I think the only real difference you ever notice is like the ratio of horseradish to ketchup, which, spoiler alert, that's basically what's in it. So,
Yeah.
but I think that's generally the only difference I see. So this was an interesting one, though, because this will tie into our tasting notes, where it doesn't look like there's that much horseradish in it. But, Eric, do you want to lead us off with the remoulade now?
I'd be happy to. This is, I feel like I'm being set up here. I think this is the third sauce in maybe like 3 or 4 weeks now that Adam has asked me to describe that looks exactly like what Adam desires all of his sauces
The
to
best
look
sauce.
like. Yeah, the best sauce. It's literally a pale orange, thick sauce, full, just chock full of spices and chunks of what I believe is relish and, I don't know, other stuff. I don't know. It's just loaded.
It is loaded.
It's
There's
loaded.
a lot of stuff in there. Yeah.
Yeah, spoiler alert, this is one of the things I love about this sauce, is how loaded with chunk it is. There's like a direct correlation to sauces, how much I like them,
Holds up to the Blizzard test too pretty well.
like how much chunk they have versus how much I'm going to like them. Like, the more chunk, the less sauce there is, the better I like it.
The more like it where it can substitute as its own extra dish, huh?
I kind of wish you could
get.
get Thousand Island that's like that, where it's mostly like chunk, you know? Because the chunk is nice. I like my sauces like I like my
Your
women.
women, yeah,
I like
I knew.
chunky. And covered in pale orange
Pale
color.
orange coloring, apparently, yeah.
And covered in spices and
Yeah, it's pretty much,
slathered
able,
on my plate.
pretty much able to just hold that right upside down, and it didn't even really phase it. So
That's one of the downsides I think about that in particular, is that it can be tricky to get out of the container. It's not really pourable. You kind of have to get like a spoon or a knife to get it out of there. I did get a knife for us to serve it tonight, so.
And it stuck quite efficiently to the knife too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it does not disperse easily. I will say that.
But yeah, I mean, it sounds like I have like the same boring job over and over again. I mean, it looks just like what the Sheets jalapeno ranch and the.
I would say this one has the most chunk of all that we've tried recently. The most
doubt,
like color
that's true.
variation, the most like size variation in chunk, and just as far as like the chunk percentage, it is hefty with chunk.
No doubt, heft.
And I like all the variety of different colors you see in there. There's like several different types of green, some red, some of them you can't really see, some of them you can. But I find it very charming. It sits chunkily on the plate too. Like, you can tell even sitting on a plate is loaded with chunk. You're not, it doesn't lay flat like some of those other, like the Sheets jalapeno ranch would lay flat. You might be able to see some chunk, but it would lay flat. This one, no. It ain't sitting flat for no one.
It looks like a mountain ridges over there on Tori's plate.
Yeah.
It does.
It's
It
not like a
does.
self-leveling feature.
Not at all. But with all that being said, I think it's time for us to get on to the initial tasting notes. Let's go ahead and start off with the cocktail sauce. Tori, do you want to lead us off with that?
Yeah, sure thing. I thought this was, you mentioned ketchup and horseradish before. I thought this was maybe cocktail sauce in general, labeled as and sold as such a way, is head and shoulders better than that combination of ketchup and horseradish.
You think this one is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And this one included, I thought was really good. I'm a sucker for horseradish. I've been saying it for years. And this showed up, man. The horseradish was certainly there. That was nice. Cocktail sauce isn't my preferred condiment for fish. I like the white tartar. I like a remoulade. We'll get into that. Yeah, cocktail sauce isn't my favorite. Maybe on a fried shrimp. But if you got a fish sandwich or something, forget it. Give me the mayonnaise base all day. All day.
Yeah, I'm definitely inclined to agree with you. And there's a reason I'm doing them in this order, because, like you say, for me, cocktail sauce is made for shrimpies. That is what its purpose is. You can have it on fish. It's fine on a fish stick. Anything more fish-like than a fish stick, again, what we had it on tonight, I feel like it's out of its element. You know what I mean? Like
Agreed,
you said,
totally.
for shrimpies, and specifically the breaded shrimpies too, not even like a grilled shrimp at all. Cocktail shrimp, okay, sure, fine. Cocktail shrimp in general, like cold shrimp in general, are not my favorite.
One of my favorites. Absolutely.
Of course they are. Because they're like eating fingers. They're like eating someone's refrigerated hand.
Cold fingers.
So good.
So, but I will say that the weird thing about this cocktail sauce in particular, and I want to this bears mentioning, both of these sauces were had for under $3.
Very nice.
Which nowadays with
That's
inflation, I went to go pick up some popcorn shrimp for us to try these on. The smallest box of popcorn shrimp I could find was $9.
Wow.
Forget it.
Frozen popcorn shrimp. And I'm talking like, a 6x6 box. $9.
That's insane.
That's what inflation has done to us. It is unreal. That's a box that used to be like, $4.99 maybe, or $3.99, a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And, $9 now. So I didn't even buy them. I just took some fish sticks out of my fridge and, it's like, fuck, I'm going to go broke on this episode.
Wow.
But these two sauces, despite the inflation, were both under $3, which I think $3, as we discussed before, is kind of like an average sauce price. These aren't big bottles, but I was very happy with that price point.
Yeah, I would say so.
There were
Definitely.
more expensive cocktail sauces by bigger name brands like Heinz and some others as well. There's also some that are not refrigerated, as this was not. There's some that are refrigerated, which I'm assuming is supposed to imply some sort of additional freshness or lack of preservatives. And the thing is, with this being the price point, a no-name brand to me, spoiler alert, this might be some of the best cocktail sauce I have ever had.
It is pretty damn
I
good.
thought it was so good. Like, it's got the ketchupy notes, it's got the sweetness, it's got the tomato, it's got, the savory, salty, along with that, like I said, the sweetness. But the vinegar is turned up super high, which I really, really, really like. I think it's a nice contrast to a greasier food like a chicken or like a fish stick or like a fried shrimp. And the horseradish has got some kick to it. It doesn't look like there's that much horseradish on it, but it's really got some kick between the vinegar and the horseradish. I like it a lot. I was very impressed.
That's good.
Yeah, I was actually kind of blown away. Actually, I had 3 fish sticks, and I know, again, spoiler alert, I know that I like this remoulade. I had one in the cocktail sauce, and I said, wow. And then I used one in the remoulade, and I went back and I used the third one to scrape up most of the remaining cocktail sauce, because I was genuinely just really enjoying it. And even the sauces that we have here that I like, oftentimes I will just kind of take, because I usually eat dinner beforehand, I'll usually just take a little tepid dip. This one I was like, no, I want more. It's good. So, what about you, Eric?
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with you there. Everything you said. The vinegar, the horseradish, the sweetness of the ketchup. Yeah, exactly. When I bit into it and I thought this is exactly what I had in my mind as what cocktail sauce should be. And the whole, what did it say on the cover there? It said that it was, since 1865. In my mind, I mean, yeah, it's sort of a unknown brand that I would guess you would call unknown, but obviously they've been around for some time and they know what they're doing because it was absolutely delicious. I had 3 fish sticks as well as we all got. I cleaned my plate thoroughly from both sauces. I used the last fish stick to mop up both of my tasting dips there. It was
we got a molecule thick layer left.
Yeah,
just the sheen.
If I was here by myself, I would have picked the plate up and just licked it clean.
Slurped it clean.
Oh yeah.
Waste not, want not, baby.
Oh man,
because it
Waste
was
not,
good.
want not.
So good.
Yeah, you got a lot of loose crumbs on there too. I can't believe you're like gonna go to waste. Usually you lick your finger and pick them up with that. Cool. Now before we move on to the remoulade, I want to do a brief survey that I already know the answer to. Have you guys ever had a remoulade before?
Not in any memorable sense. I mean, I've had a ton of fish sandwiches. Some fancier ones. There may have been, but it hasn't been a standout thing.
Same here, maybe, but I don't think so.
Okay, well, I can remember the first time I ever had remoulade sauce because I was in Bass Lake Inn in Chardon, Ohio, and we used to always go there for my grandpa's birthday. And I can't remember at this point whether my grandpa was still alive or not. I suspect he probably was because I was pretty damn young. And I remember I was looking on the menu at a fish dish, and it said that it came with remoulade sauce. And I remember asking my mom, like, hey, Mom, what's remoulade sauce? Like, what the fuck is this shit? As I would speak to my mother, just
naturally,
like that.
Sure.
Naturally. And she said, I'm not sure. Ask your aunt, because my aunt is a classy lady, so she would know that kind of thing. She eats at, the fancy places. So I asked her, and she's like, oh, it's like a spicier tartar sauce. She said, you'll like it. I'm like, all right. So
she nailed it.
She nailed it.
So,
she knows her nephew.
Yeah, so I did try it. I got on the fish, and I remember what type of fish it was. But I remember that was the first time I ever had remoulade sauce. At the time, I was like, this is interesting. It was like a house-made one. I don't think I cared for that one as much, but it did stick in my mind distinctly, obviously, as I still remember it. Probably, I would say, bare minimum at this point, 20 years ago. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it definitely sticks in my mind distinctly. So, interesting, though. But now I want to move on to the tasting notes for this one that we have here tonight specifically, which, again, comes in a jar, bottled, I think it's $2.99 at Giant Eagle.
That's a great price.
Tori, do you want to lead us off with that?
Yeah, I think Auntie Dearest hit it right on the nose. It is certainly a spicier tartar sauce. Darn I say it's a little tangy, and it is super like bright maybe in a citrusy, acidic way. Wowee. Yeah, it is really good. I just had it on its own, a nice little scoop, maybe a dime-sized little dollop of Remoulade. Now I'm getting creative. Remoulade sauce. And it's a spicy tartar sauce. The chunk was really nice, of course. We touched on that, I think. It was good. I like it. Have a tartar sauce and crank up the heat, and the heat sort of sticks with you. I'm noticing now that I had it on a solo scoop. The heat sort of hangs around, at least for me, in the back of the throat. I'm sensitive to that. I may have mentioned it once or twice, but there you go. I like it a lot. It's good, and I'm very much want to have it again.
Interesting. Eric, I want you to go next, and I want you to go next solely because I don't spoil it, because I've made my own Remoulade sauce before, and so I'm familiar with like what goes into it and the types of it's easier for me to pull out those flavor notes.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess I have to use a little bit of, you're just going to have to trust me, listeners, when I say this to you, but when I tasted it, when I first opened up, when the jar was first passed to me and I smelled it, I said, oh, that's interesting. Because I could smell the relish. I could smell the vinegar. I was like, okay, this is going to be like tartar sauce. Poured a little bit on my plate, dipped my fish stick in it, and I was like, huh, okay. I taste mustard. It's like tartar sauce with mustard. And then it hit me with the vinegary and a bright note. Like Tori was saying, definitely has a good acidic pop to it.
Acidic.
Yeah, it was very tasty. And then, of course, I did the description of the bottle, where I proceeded to talk about everything that was around the label, which you could taste every single one of those notes. You could taste the mustard, you could taste the onion, you could taste the garlic, you could taste the tomato, you can taste the lemon. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, there's carrots also on here. I don't know about tasting the carrots.
You never do.
Maybe you can taste the carrots, but the carrots are obviously in the color. So, yeah, incredible. Fantastic. Amazing. I don't think I'll ever go back to tartar sauce. If I have the option, Remoulade.
I've never met Remoulade.
You keep trying to say Remoulade.
Remoulade? I don't know what that
Star
is.
Trek horseshit or something. Yeah, no, I'm 100% in agreement with you, too. Once I found this at Giant Eagle for a reasonable price, and this particular one I think is a good shining example, yeah, I really personally see no need for tartar sauce. I think this is a lot similar enough to take its place, still being a little bit different, but really amps it up. It definitely starts off with like a tartar sauce type base. You do add some like a mustard seasoning to it. Sometimes you can add like a little bit of a ketchup to it as well. You tend to have some lemon in there, like a fair amount of like lemon juice, things like that. Like you're saying, all the spices, it has Cajun seasoning in it essentially. So
nice.
Anything that you would put into like Cajun seasoning, those are all the spices that you typically use to make this. And in addition to, like I said, that's where you get a lot of the chunk from, those fresh herbs. The relish is in there, obviously, from the tartar sauce. Oftentimes, you'll have a little bit of horseradish in there, too. Honestly, a good way to start off making it is to, like, combine tartar sauce and cocktail sauce.
Interesting.
Start off that way, throw a little mustard in, throw a little lemon in, throw some Cajun seasoning in, you're pretty much there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I definitely got mustard seed.
Yeah.
It's textural.
It's a robust mustard flavor, I would say, and you can make it differently. It's open to interpretation. It's an easy one to make at your home if you don't have access to one in a store, and it's also quite good that way. But I think that this particular brand really nails it. And honestly, it's interesting because I like tartar sauce, I like cocktail sauce, but I think this is really more than the sum of its parts. This is something that take something I would only want to have on shrimp, like cocktail sauce, or I would only want to have on like a fish sandwich, tartar sauce. Now it can go one thing that does both better than either one of the ones does individually. Now, I will say that sometimes you may have a craving for one over the other, but there's very few instances that I could picture where I would rather have tartar sauce than this.
Yeah.
Cocktail sauce, maybe, because just like I said, because the balance is a little bit different. You have more of a vinegar zing, especially with this one in particular, more of a horseradish kick. But yeah, this remoulade, it really does do it all. And like I said, I've had it on a variety of seafood things. It goes beautifully on like a crab cake too, I will say. But
that would be perfect.
But honestly, because the flavors because it has so much in it, and it's just kind of, good flavors in general. Yeah, throw it on a burger or something like that. Dip some fries in it, like.
That'd be really good on chicken.
Like I said, put it in a salad. I never thought of that. That would be phenomenal, especially if you made like, a seafood Cobb salad or something like that. Or even like you can make a variation on like a Caesar even. I think would be really good with that too. Like a Cajun Caesar salad. Yeah, I could see it being good on a whole host of things. So very, very pleased with that. But with all that being said, now it's time for us to move on to Eric's favorite segment of the show, the ingredients.
All right.
Hit us with the cocktail first.
Just the same order that we tried them in, we're going to start with the cocktail sauce because it's all about procedure and order and neatness for Adam and our listeners.
About consistency to not confuse people. I think that's reasonable. It's not just me being some OCD shit.
I'm already confused for what it's
right. Well, most people start off.
What are you confused about?
How much time you got?
So this cocktail sauce has the ingredients that follows: tomato paste, water, high fructose corn syrup, distilled vinegar, horseradish, salt, lemon juice concentrate, soybean oil, beet powder, natural flavor and artificial flavor, xanthan gum,
bang bang,
bang bang,
potassium sorbate, and sodium benzate used as preservatives, and EDTA,
Eric, take this and ask.
calcium disodium to protect quality.
Okay, so nothing really. I mean, it was exactly what we said. It's ketchup with horseradish sauce. The beet powder kind of thought was interesting.
It's a superfood.
And also the addition of the lemon juice, which I thought was tactful, because I do think that in a dish like that, more acidity, particularly lemon, really does amp it up for seafood.
No doubt.
Agreed, for sure.
Good choice there. And they're nailing it, as we said.
Yeah, super delicious. All right, and now for the S and F remoulade. Something like that.
We listened to a French man pronounce it on YouTube rather than just going to the Google thing and hitting the little button where it pronounces it for you in an English accent. Eric chose to go to YouTube and play it 20 times, and we're still not saying it right.
We're still not saying it right. All right, but
let's be honest. Neither one of us, none of the three of us, are saying it exactly the way a French person would say it.
For sure.
I can promise you
now that we
that.
know that it's a French, derives from the French.
Oh, I knew it was French already. I wasn't going to pretend to do a French accent to say it.
I'm just going to start saying remoulade because it looks like lemonade, and it's going to be pronounced.
I can promise you that is wrong.
Accordingly,
I like
remoulade.
Good, clean ingredients is how this one lists its ingredients. So I think it's pretty interesting.
You may as well call it Remoulade.
This has canola or soybean oil. That's interesting. They really don't know. They don't know. It's clean ingredients, but they don't know.
That is weird.
Water, horseradish, stone ground mustard, which apparently contains apple cider vinegar, water, mustard seed, and salt and spices. Well, I think that's where we're getting most of their yellow. Well, okay, not all their mustard, but certainly a lot of their mustard flavor from. Then yellow mustard. And then it has tomato paste and egg yolks and cane sugar, onion, distilled vinegar, spices, Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire.
That one I am 100%.
Yes.
I speak English, so I can say that one.
Sea salt, lemon juice concentrate, garlic, natural flavor, paprika, xanthan gum.
Hey, you said paprika this time.
How about that?
You didn't say paprika.
Paprika.
Natural vitamin E added to protect flavor.
Oh, perfect.
Vitamin E.
Shake well and refrigerate after opening.
That's what when Eric dips his fingers in the sauce, it's got vitamin E. All right. Well, yeah, none of that surprised me at all. It all seems pretty standard, right?
I would think so. Yeah. The question mark on the first ingredient obviously lends itself to a sketchy nature.
That's strange. I wonder.
I
would love to know what the reason companies do stuff like that, because I have really no idea. Yeah, I don't know exactly. That does seem strange. I would love to know the reason why they say "or" as opposed to just picking one. I'm assuming it's not the production line just runs whatever they can find, whatever barrel they can get from a day-to-day thing. They might.
Yeah.
And truly, it probably makes no difference calorically or anything like that. But
so what were the options? Canola and what was the other one?
Soybean. So Yeah, I'm
That's
sure
weird.
they're similar enough.
Yeah, sure they are too, but it still does seem weird. But I don't know, maybe it's some blend that they don't measure exactly. Who knows? I'm not going to email and ask them. But without further
Call
ado,
the FDA. I don't trust it.
let's move on to the websites of these two companies because we've never looked at either one of these before. These are both totally new brands to us. Now we'll go to the Bookbinders first. And Tori, I know you saw something immediately very interesting on here.
Yeah, it just caught my eye. I'm not the biggest fan of everything bagels per se, but there was an everything bagel mustard that occurs on the landing page, of course, of Bookbinders Foods, which I happen to get a warning for. Don't serve Bookbinders Foods on an Apple product, I guess. It flags it for nefarious activity. But yeah, so it's on the splash screen, I guess you would call it, for those that are far more web savvy than me. But yeah, an everything bagel mustard. I'm
Super intriguing. I like
Curious.
everything bagels, so that sounds right up my alley.
I like everything bagels, but I'm not so sure that I would like that specifically. Now, they've got a variety of sauces on here, and interestingly, the one that we're having here tonight falls under what they call seafood items, which I would have thought was actually like seafood, not sauces, but I don't know how many they have, but we'll start off trying to do our typical rapid-fire style. So, Tori, you want to lead us off?
chili sauce.
Cocktail sauce.
Hot and spicy cocktail sauce.
Tartar sauce.
All right, and then we'll go to their specialty sauces. Which
That's just all four. That was it.
No, that was the seafood items.
Oh,
So they've got also some specialty sauces.
okay.
And you want to lead us off with that there, Tor?
Applewood smoke flavored horseradish.
Which sounds really good.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Creamy horseradish sauce.
Shelf stable prepared horseradish.
Spicy sriracha sauce.
And finally, with 53 likes, we have wasabi sauce.
Nice.
I really love the idea of a smoked horseradish. I love smoked things in general, and that sounds particularly delightful. But to round off the last category they have here, we'll talk about their mustards. So go ahead there, Tor. That was the first one you already mentioned.
There it is, the everything bagel mustard. They're hustling on their main page.
That was interesting. It's a different name than as he hovers over it changes names there. It's a hot and sweet honey mustard. That's interesting.
Oh. That one's horseradish mustard with the hot banner on it.
And we got a stone ground Dijon mustard.
And this is old style whole grain mustard.
So that seems like all their sauces. So they've got... I find them very charming in a sense. It does look like... The logo looks like something you would see in like a Long John Silver's on the table.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
But not in a bad way. In kind of a charming, rustic way. Like I said, spoiler alert, I will be selecting this cocktail sauce again in the future. I am pretty much guaranteed of that. But let's also go take a quick look at the Schlotterbeck and Foss website as
God
well.
bless you.
They like that hexagon a lot.
They do like the hexagon. Now, I'm just curious what they've got here. Okay, they've got signature products, of which they have chef sauces and marinades, meat condiments, seafood condiments, cooking sauces, artisan salsas, dessert sauces. Does that say mossness?
I guess.
Nest
And
dressing.
moss nest dressing. Okay, we got to find out what moss nest dressing is. Our moss nest signature salad dressing, a simple vinaigrette, has been a New England favorite since 1923. Well, that's fascinating.
That is.
I wonder...
It's a play on the Loch Ness. I get it now. Wow.
Is it, though? I'm actually not sure if that's what it is.
I would have to be. If it's a New England staple or not.
Yeah, but Loch Ness is not New England.
No, it's not. But
So I do think it could definitely be a play on that, but I don't think it's obvious that it is. That was where my mind went initially, too, but yeah, I'm not sure. They do have a shitload of sauces, so we're not gonna name all these because there's way too many to go through. But
big brand. I've never even seen them before though.
yeah, I've never seen any of the other ones in store. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything
Some
you
of
guys
them
want
look
to
good.
call out here. Go ahead and call them out. But there's a shitload of them. So there's one.
Tequila lime.
I say that was the one that
Yeah.
jumped out at me. Was that they've got a Meyer lemon, which sounds interesting.
Maple bacon chipotle.
Yeah, they've got
Wow.
all kinds of crazy stuff. They've got a carne asada sauce, which I think sounds interesting too.
Caribbean mango.
I do
Damn.
love carne asada. So that's for
Wow.
their chef sauces and marinades. They've got meat condiments, which again,
Blue cheese mustard. Ooh.
that sounds really good. They've got 4 of those, and that looks like things you'd put on a steak.
Yeah.
Signature seafood, and that's where you find our remoulade sauce, but they also make a tartar sauce and cocktail sauce. Bloody Mary cocktail sauce as well. That's bizarre. For their cooking sauces, they've got just the 2. They've got a chili starter and a marsala. Artisan salsas.
Only two of those.
Yeah, getting just the two. Now, this is another thing. They've got one here that's a Texas caviar, which I think is a lot of like corn and things like that.
Never had it.
Like
Never heard of it.
beans and stuff.
That's my
I've never
jam.
had it, but I
like
wanted
it.
to make
You
some.
like it, E?
Oh, yeah. I like corn and black beans in my salsa. It's good.
Yeah. I think I would definitely like that a lot. They've got some dessert ones, which the packaging on the dessert ones harkens back to the olive tap, that chocolate raspberry liqueur sauce we had.
Yep.
That's very similar packaging, actually.
Decadent fudge. Oh, man.
Some interesting
They all
ones
look like
there.
winners.
So, yeah, they've got a lot of stuff on their website there. Like I said, I would try pretty much any of their sauces, honestly, based on this Remoulade sauce. I think they all sound like potential winners. So, with all that being said, we checked out the websites. We did Eric's favorite segment of the show, but now it's time for us to move on to the ratings portion of the show. Now, let's keep the same order. Let's start off with the cocktail sauce, and, I'll go first. I can't think of a single way to improve this. This is like my ideal cocktail sauce at this point. It's a 10.
Wow.
It's so good.
There you
I
have
loved it. I loved it. I was blown away. My socks were blown away. I went back and double dipped, and I double dipped on a sauce when I already knew how much I loved the Remoulade, and I said, no, I want more of this cocktail sauce.
Wow.
So what about you, Tor?
You've had this in the past or no?
No, I've never had this.
Wow.
That's why I was so impressed.
And just a random snag in a grocery
Random
store.
snag. Like I said, I've had the Remoulade. I know I like that a lot. I knew I was going to like it a lot, but when I had my choice of 3 fish sticks and I had to choose 2 for one sauce, the 2 that went to the one sauce was the cocktail sauce.
Wow.
What about you, Tor?
Man, you make a compelling case. And I mean, cocktail sauce isn't my favorite, but within the realm of cocktail sauce, it is pretty damn good. It stands up to a lot of criticism, and it was good. And yeah, I was sitting here eating it with a spoon, in fact. So yeah, it was good. E cleaned his plate. Ooh, boy, it's a tough one.
Don't feel pressured.
No, I mean, you bring up a really good point. You know, how could you improve it? I've had other cocktail sauces. I've had a lot of worse cocktail sauces.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Way worse.
Oh, yeah.
If I were to say like, 9.5.
At that point,
I'm not sure I can.
I think a 9.5 is fair. I can't go with your heart.
I can't justify the half-point deduction though.
Okay.
So I think you're right, man. I think it's a 10.
Nice. My thing is always, what can I do to improve this?
The price point's nice and low.
Yeah. The only way I could typically think of to improve most cocktail sauces would be, again, maybe amp the acidity up, a little more vinegar, a little more lemon juice. They already did that. Make sure it's got plenty of horseradish kick. They nailed it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying, like, I can't improve that. They nailed it. That's exactly what I want in cocktail sauce.
Yeah.
How about you, Eric?
Yeah, as I said earlier when I was talking about tasting notes, I mean, I really like cocktail sauce. I love it on shrimp. I really do think it's kind of like a niche product. It has a certain application that is really designed for, but it hits home so good on shrimp and even like crab cakes and whatnot. And this was everything that I could possibly think of in the way of cocktail sauce tasting. So yeah, Adam was saying, how could he improve it? I was thinking, well, I've had cocktail sauce in a glass jar before. Would that elevate it in any way? You know what? Honestly, it's more of a pain in the ass to get out of. You're worried about breaking the jars.
Yeah.
You're trying to slam it on the counter to get every last drop. You know how I am. So, I think that the plastic bottle is perfect. It keeps the price point low. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with a 10. This is a solid 10 around.
Nice.
Wowee.
Yeah, and I think that, I don't know about being bookbinders, but they sure as hell have us all spellbound.
Oh, very nice.
So, yeah, because that was...
Well done.
I was shocked.
That was a good one.
I think every other sauce we've had that's scored this well, I had some inkling in advance. I actually thought this would be bad.
Huh.
To be quite honest, based on the price point, never having seen the name before, I honestly didn't think it was going to be good.
Wow.
I thought it was going to be the most generic run-of-the-mill cocktail sauce I could find.
I'll be damned. Here I thought this was waiting in the wings, like that beaver sauce that...
I specifically got this instead of getting a more popular name brand because I wanted to see what some off-the-wall brand would be like.
I think the last one
blind.
that I bought was actually maybe I think it was Heinz. And I really wasn't that impressed with it, honestly.
I generally have a thing against buying cocktail sauce because I almost always have horseradish and I almost always have ketchup on hand. And I'm like, if I have both of those, who am I going to... I don't like it when people buy sauces that are so readily, easily made from ingredients you have at home, And I got to admit, as of today, this is another key thing that I've learned about myself with rating sauces 10s If it changes my behavior in any way, that is a 10. Like, if it actively changes my shopping habits, that's a 10. It's the same thing with the Duke's Mayo. That was one of the reasons that's got a 10. That was a fundamental paradigm shift in my purchasing behavior at Giant Eagle. Like, that marked the complete lack of any Miracle Whip in my fridge, switching to Duke's Mayo pretty near exclusively.
You have been assimilated.
Although I will admit that Miracle Whip does have its applications where I think it shines better.
Right.
But in general, for everyday application, Duke's is where it's at. I feel the same way about this. You know what? I'm going to buy cocktail sauce from now on, and it's going to be Bookbinders. With all that being said, let's now move on to the S&F Remoulade sauce. Eric, would you like to lead us off with that?
Ooh, changing it up. Yeah. So I like tartar sauce in general. Not my favorite of sauces for sure, but it's decent. It's good. I particularly like it when it has like a nice bite to it and the vinegar and stuff pops. And this Remoulade does all that in spades. It brings a delicious amount of flavor and pop and zing and that like combination of garlic and mustard and tomato. And it knocked out of the park for me. And I think I find it hard to believe this is my first time trying it, but maybe it is. Yeah, it's 10. Double 10. That's how I feel tonight.
Yeah,
my plate is as clean as it gets. It
is a clean plate.
I did not want to go first on this one because I didn't want to be the first one to say double 10s because, honest to God, yeah, this one, again, this one's a staple for me. Anytime I got seafood, this is a go-to. This has got to be... I love this shit. I love this so much. That's why I was so surprised how much I like the cocktail sauce in comparison because this stuff is so fucking good. Like I said, it's taking a sauce I already like a tartar sauce. It's adding another sauce I like the cocktail sauce, and it's making it, like I said, it is greater than the sum of its parts somehow. Yeah, it's a 10 for me too.
No pressure, Tori.
No pressure.
No. Well, guys, let me ask you this. Have you had this S&F brand before?
No.
Really?
Never. Only this.
Yikes.
Now, I've had this Remoulade sauce before, many times. This specific one. But I have never had a different S&F sauce, if that's what you're asking.
Now I'm very confused. Have you purchased that jar before?
I've had this exact item before many times, but I've never had a different sauce from S&F.
Gotcha.
They have a lot. Remember, we looked and they have a lot of different sauces. I've never had any of those other than this. But this one in particular, I've had many times.
Interesting. Yeah, it makes... damn, it's hard. I think... it's obvious. It's a 10. Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for tartar sauce. I like tartar sauce, really. I like it on French fries. As fat ass as that sounds.
This is better than that on French fries.
It's true.
It has to be better on French fries.
Yeah, and it has to be better on French fries. I mean, and that's such a stupid thing. I mean, in fish sandwiches, of course. I think it would blow a
crispy chicken sandwich.
You could put this on excellent. The thing is, it fits on... Because of all the flavors it's got on it, somehow it fits with anything you'd put on ketchup, put ketchup on. It fits with anything you put mayo on. It fits with anything you would put like Cajun seasoning on. I don't know how it does it, but it nails it on a fucking Philly cheesesteak. You could put this on anything. It's so good.
Yeah, it is good.
Chicken, pork, beef, fish, all of it. Nails it.
Yeah.
Trying to envision on a pork chop. Different, but I probably would like it. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, I think if you had like a nice, well-seared pork chop, especially because they can be a little bit dry sometimes, but especially I think like the citrusy, like lemony notes and the vinegar and stuff would be a really nice contrast with a savory pork chop.
Yeah, I can see it.
Good. Yeah, so hell of an episode. I didn't foresee this going that well. Like I knew I'd like the Remoulade, the cocktail sauce that came out of left field, but yeah, both very good.
Crazy.
So, interesting. Yeah, interesting episode. It's been a while since we had a 10. This is our first...
since we've had, all three
double deckers.
It's our first 10 in season 3. So, very interesting. Wow, cool. Fun. Really, it made those fish sticks worthwhile, huh, E?
I have nothing against fish sticks.
really made those
be
slimy,
clear on record.
wormy, gross, wriggly little things. These are all your words that you used earlier. Toddler food. Really elevated it, didn't it, E?
It was a good enough vessel. No, the fish sticks were not stellar, but they were
really
tasty.
I love
enough.
Fish sticks. Well, I think
the sauces were really good. That's what they were the standout. That's what the show's about. That's what I'm going to focus on. Sauces.
Smart.
There we go.
We could have had the Remoulade on chicken nuggets for what it's worth too. And I think it would have also been good.
Sure.
So I think that's going to do it for us. For the Bookbinder cocktail sauce and the S&F Remoulade sauce. So with all that being said, Eric,
Well,
do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to share with the listeners?
To loop back to the beginning of this episode, I apparently need to branch out my hobbies and pick up some more things.
I wasn't teasing you. I was just so enamored with that whole conversation. I was just
the conversation before our conversation.
The listeners are going to have no idea what you're referencing,
but yes, constantly learning new things and constantly trying to broaden my interests. So and now I'm broadening my sauce repertoire with some new sauces that I just absolutely fell in love with. So
would you say get out of your comfort box?
Oh, maybe.
And try a new sauce or two?
And pick up a new hobby or two?
Maybe.
Other than the many Mani-Pedis and Target and what else was it?
Instagram. Your Instagram
My Instagram account.
Yeah, playing on your phone is not a hobby. That was the hot stance I was taking earlier. That was controversial. So.
Oh no, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't controversial in my eyes. I just couldn't believe what I was hearing.
It might be controversial to some people, but yeah, I don't think playing on your phone is a hobby. And I don't mean playing like mobile games like esports on your phone. I mean like fiddling around on Reddit or Instagram. I don't think is a hobby. So that was my hot take. So
it is a time suck, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yep. And I think I remember back. I think I was telling you guys that you should try Remoulade because I did think you would like it at the time. So
I remember you saying that, and I was like very dismissive of it. I was like, yeah, okay, Adam, whatever.
I'm glad I wasn't disappointed. That's all. So now it's time for Touching Thoughts with Tori.
I thought we were gonna get our recipes.
No, I don't have any recipe. I don't know what I would do for recipes. Like these are already like combination sauces, so I feel like it'd be hard to let Eric have much free reign without
going totally off the wall.
Fried fish, fried shrimp.
It would be like that thing where you have like the soft serve, not the soft serve, the fountain beverage thing where you just mix all the pops together.
The suicide drink.
Yeah, that's anything more than this Remoulade would be like that version of sauces. So
he's not wrong. What would my suicide sauce? What would your suicide sauce?
No, we're not doing that because it's just everything combined. So,
well,
Tori's suicide sauce would be anything with chipotle in it.
Yeah, right. Roller coaster grease. Well, we are on a long journey, and it's a long ways, and there's going to be basically a lot of shit you're going to have to deal with. So I guess it's important to remind you that, don't focus on the obstacles because that's all you're going to see. If you focus on the journey, then I think you'll be surprised as to how much progress you really end up noticing, even maybe by mistake, because that's always a very happy incident there, a happy accident, if you will, be like Bob Ross. But of course, that'll do it for me. Thank you for listening. We love you. You still look good after we beat you up for an hour. And yeah, that'll do it for me.
Yeah, well, I hope listeners, if you don't like seafood, I'm sorry this probably wasn't the episode for you, but if you do like seafood, I implore you, go out, purchase both of these sauces, have a little seafood night. I think you will be doing yourself a treat. So,
for sure.
As always, thank you guys so much for listening, and as always, we'll catch you next week.
Oh no, it's the end of the show. Thank goodness there's several other episodes waiting just for you. Check out our Instagram. We like to have some fun over there. We post the sauce bottle pics if you're curious, and the occasional meme. That's going to be Sauce Spoken Official. Hey, despite our humble nature, we are accepting donations, believe it or not. Look us up on PayPal. That's going to be @SauceSpoken. Hey, and if you like what you hear, grease those palms, babe. Lastly, roll up your sleeves and get into the nitty-gritty. It's saucespoken.wordpress.com. We have show notes and details. Check it out. Share us with a family member or a friend. If you're enjoying it, I'm certain they will too. Good night.